Yo, Delinquent Dinosaur 4 here. Rawr. Okay. Drop. Let's not try to do things. But I saw a lot of talk about the couple who was having a baby, but aborted it due to it's gonna have Down syndrome. Now that's a lot of controversy because obviously people don't have the best opinion on abortion already, and now because it had Down syndrome, and well, was going to because it wasn't born, um, it's become a lot more of a heated topic. I want to get something straight. I don't give a fuck about a fetus, bro. That shit was not alive. It was a homunculus in that woman's belly. Who cares that it was aborted? But, I mean, a lot of people care about abortion. But no, a lot of people care about abortion. But I just think, who cares? Let's break it down. Let's break it down. There's two arguments. The abortion argument and the Down syndrome part. The abortion part is very simple. A woman's body, their choice. At the end of the day, a woman's body isn't some well-oiled, tuned-up machine to pump out babies. Having a baby is a toll on a woman and cause either health complications, death, or like just, lifelong effects for having a child. So I think if a woman wants to have a child aborted, it's their right. And a lot of times when we talk about abortion, people go, if you was aborted, how would you feel? Buddy, I wouldn't be alive. A fetus isn't an alive thing. It's a little pool of genes swirling around in someone's belly, feeding on them like a parasite to to then be born and then alive. Like it's crazy. So people go, "Oh, how would you feel?" I wouldn't know. I never reached birth. The only time it's murder is if it's reached birth, because then you are an alive human being and not just a little embryotic parasite. Onto the Down syndrome part. And because the baby was... Oh my... I don't see that guy. Holy, I just got popped like a fucking grape. But because the baby had... Well, was going to have Down syndrome if it was born. I should stop referring to it as a baby. Because it isn't. It's a fetus. And people referring to unborn fetuses as babies does just like lead into a precedent in which you shouldn't have an abortion because you're quote-unquote killing a baby. Which you're just not doing. It's a fetus. But because the fetus would have had Down syndrome, a lot of people I've seen call it eugenics or called it ableist to terminate the pregnancy. And that's just so silly because if they went through with it, on top of my previous state opinions on the toll it takes on a woman, how it's unfair to her and if it's her choice if she wants to have a baby or not, it's also just they would have most likely given up the child because they had the abortion because they didn't feel like they could give it the level of care it needed. And it's well stated that orphanages, even for non-disabled children, is terrible. Rampant abuse is critically underfunded. It's not a healthy system. It's a terrible system for any child to be through. And then on top of that, for the child to have Down syndrome, a very limiting disability that will, negatively impact their quality of life. It is just like it is. It sounds callous to say, but it's doing the child a favor if it was to get to a child, because it would, unironically, a Down syndrome disabled baby in the level of foster care would not live a fulfilling life. Which, is crazy for me to say, because who am I to know if it was to have a fulfilling life or not? I don't know. I just know that personally, if I was someone who was pregnant having this baby, I would not want to have it. I would send that shit into the vacuum in any abortion clinic, made it disappear. Because at the end of the day, they probably shouldn't have posted. Okay, they. Sh I don't think they should have hidden it because no one should be ashamed to get an abortion. But at the same time, they have to understand that if they are talking about aborting a baby, there's a lot of rubbing freaks who get mad at that. But aborting a baby who has not baby, stop calling a baby, James. Idiot, idiot, idiot. See, the issue is anyone who would bad faith argument, my opinion, would point out the fact I'm referring to it as a baby and have a ha gotcha. It can't be fixed because referring to it as a baby. To me, it's the exact same fucking thing. I don't give a shit. Which, obviously, some could then argue that I'm saying kill babies. No, I just don't think fetuses are babies. But I don't think a fetus because it's not the fucking word I use in my day-to-day conversation. I only talk about fetuses when talking about abortion. Anyways, back to the conversation. Um, I don't think fetuses qualify as an active human life, and you can abort it if you want. The reason of abortion, it sounds callous and cruel, but it 100% makes sense. If you don't think that baby, if it was to become a baby, could live, that person's chick. Um, oh no, I don't know, I just thought, that guy's cheating! What? He's what? Is that guy wall hacking? It's either that or it's just, it's weird to look up there. But no, dude. Okay, I'm gonna, just, bro, they aborted the baby. People are fucking mad at it. And it's like, would you go through all the stress everybody has to go through to give birth and then, like, it sounds selfish to be like, oh, your life would be completely altered by having a baby with such special needs. But at the end of the day, it's not crazy because if you can't live with your life being changed in that extreme way, then you wouldn't be able to give suitable care to that child. And then it's not good for the child, which means like you're just protecting that the potential child's like just ability to live. Like it's just a in any other way, it's just so simple to see that they just wouldn't be ready for it. But just because the baby would have Down syndrome, it's now a massive argument? No, it's not relevant. On the most basic level, they didn't feel like they could give the baby a level of care that it would need to have a nice, fulfilling life, so they aborted it, like a lot of many people do with abortions of babies that they would not be of fetuses, of fetuses. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Of fetuses they wouldn't be able to take care of. And other people call it eugenics, like, oh, if the fetus didn't have Down syndrome, you would have kept it. That's not what eugenics is. Eugenics is trying to stop people from having sex entirely to not have their offspring carry certain traits. It's normally done in a racist way or an ableist way to stop people from ever being born with specific stuff, but it's not eugenics. It just doesn't count as eugenics. Like, we're not. Like, we have to, like, let's use our brains here. They're not Hitler. They're not Hitler camping, eugenicsing out a population to only keep the ones they like. No, it's just they wouldn't be able to give it the level of care needed, so they didn't have the baby. Or, yeah, no, that's correct. Oops, you wouldn't say wouldn't have a fetus. Okay, they just couldn't provide for it. And if you can't provide for something, giving it to social care would just not be good for it. Holy fuck, I'm blind. Alright, this one's kind of a short one. I feel like I'm a lot less, yappy. Okay. I'm a lot less yappy with this one. It's just like, why did my OBS just close? It's an opinion I'm a lot more, like, locked in on. Wow, it's actually not short. Dude, fuck that. Ooh. That was gonna be some really poor wording. Fetuses don't count as human life. Abort them if you can't take care of them. The orphanage just leads to a lot of trauma and terribleness. It needs complete reform, but it won't get reformed anytime soon because we're sending all our money to Israel.